All right, let's talk about a simple but really powerful technique that can completely change how your Java code looks and feels. We're going to make it cleaner, more intuitive, and honestly, just a lot more pleasant to read.
You know that feeling, right? You look at your code, especially when you're setting up a new object, and it just feels, I don't know, like a list of separate, clunky commands. If you've ever felt that, you're not alone. And that's exactly the problem we're going to solve today. So let's kick things off by looking at something that should be super familiar to any Java developer. This is the standard way we've all been taught to initialize an object. Okay, look, does this work? Absolutely. It gets the job done, no question. But just look at it. We have to type my car, my car, my car over and over again. It feels less like we're building one single thing and more like we're just ticking off a list of chores. It's repetitive, it's verbose, and we can do so much better.
In that better way, I like to call it fluid logic. It's all about making our code flow, almost like a natural sentence, using a really cool technique called method chaining.
And here it is. Check out the difference. We get the exact same result, but now the code tells a story. We create a new car, and then we set its color, and then we set its doors, and then we set its model. It's all one single, elegant statement. It's clean, it's concise, and man, is it easy to read.
So the official name for this is method chaining. The whole idea is ridiculously simple. You just call one method right after another on the very same object. The secret sauce is that each method does its job and then literally hands the object off to the next method in line.
Now, I know this might look like some kind of special Java syntax or magic, but it's not. The way it's implemented is actually incredibly simple. So let's pull back the curtain and see the one little trick that makes this whole thing work.
It's really just a simple little dance. First, you call a method on your object. That method does its thing, sets a value or whatever. But then, and this is the crucial part, at the very end, it returns a reference to itself using the this keyword. And because it returns itself, the next method call has an object to work with and the chain can just keep on going.
And there it is. That's the whole secret. That one line, return this. Instead of your setter methods being void, you just change them to return the object's type and add that little line at the end. That's it. It's literally that simple. You've just given your object a beautiful, fluent interface.
Okay, but let's be real. Like any technique in programming, this isn't a silver bullet you should use absolutely everywhere. It's super powerful for sure, but it's really important to know about the trade-offs. So on the plus side, the benefits are obvious. The readability is just fantastic, and it cuts down on so much repetitive code. But on the flip side, debugging can get a little tricky. Since it's all one long statement, you can't just stick a breakpoint in between setting the color and setting the doors. You also have to be careful not to create these monster chains that go super deep into other objects. That can make your code fragile.
Now this goes way beyond just setting up simple objects. This technique is actually the foundation for creating what are called domain-specific languages, or DSLs. That's basically when you build an API that reads so much like plain English that it feels like you've invented your own little mini-language just for solving one specific problem. And that idea, the idea of using these fluent chains to build something, well, that leads us straight into one of the most famous and useful design patterns out there. Yep, we're talking about the builder pattern. If you've ever used a builder in Java to put together a complex object piece by piece, guess what? You've been using method chaining this whole time. So now when you see a builder, you'll know that the magic underneath is just that simple little return this. There's this quote that I think perfectly captures the why behind all of this. It's a reminder that we're not just writing instructions for a computer. We're communicating. We're writing for other humans. And a lot of the time, that human is our future self. Trying to make code read like good prose, that's a goal worth aiming for. So let's just quickly recap the big stuff. Method chaining gives you that super readable, fluent code. The magic behind it is just having your methods return this. It makes your code way more concise, but you gotta be a little careful when debugging. And remember, it's the fundamental idea that makes awesome things like the builder pattern possible. So I'll leave you with this final thought. This isn't just some abstract theory. Think about the project you're working on right now. Is there some clunky object you have to create all the time? An API that just feels awkward to use? Where could you apply this idea of fluid logic to make your own code just a little bit clearer and a little more elegant? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.